let's all be honest with ourselves. I don't think anyone, maybe a few people, but for the most part, I don't think most people saw this game coming. I mean, it was already an under the radar series as it is, as it was. The last game was in 2004. No one really saw this coming. It was announced in 2007, delayed a few times. It wasn't until E3 2012 that people actually knew this game was coming. And I am, of course, talking about Pikmin 3. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you didn't read the title. So, yeah, since before E3 2012, I don't think many people knew this was coming. I didn't even know they were even considering making another Pikmin game. I wanted it to happen since I'm a big fan of it, but honestly, I never knew they were actually even making one. Then E3 2012 came out, and we got tons of Pikmin concept videos throughout the year at E3, also just throughout the year, throughout most of 2013, through E3 2013, PAX, the Comic-Con, San Diego. This game had gotten more hyped than any of the other Pikmin games before, and it's because Nintendo really wanted to bring this game back. And I think this game more than redeems itself for the terrible job Nintendo did with Mario Party 9. And this game, combined with the earlier release at launch, WiiU, which some people say is kind of a flop, but I think it's a pretty good game, which appeals to the horror, survival horror people to play the Wii U. The Pikmin 3 appeals to the rest. The family-friendly, the real-time strategy, because it's got kind of real-time strategy, army commanders, the casual gamer, even the hardcore gamer like myself. This game, combined with WiiU, could easily blast the Wii U, which for some people said was kind of a failed system, back into the spotlight. I think this game alone is worth purchasing a Wii U for. $300, well, like $410 just to play one game. Plus, if you buy for the deluxe, you get the Nintendo Land. But what? This game is worth it. One of the main reasons I considered buying a Wii U is because Pikmin 3 was going to be released for that system. I was waiting so long for Pikmin sequel to come out. I mean, and I really hope Nintendo does not stop with Pikmin 3, because I will break my foot off in their ass if they do. Seriously. Keep the Pikmin franchise going. Anyway, now I've wasted like 2 or 3 minutes of your time, let's get down to the review. Pikmin 3 has solid gameplay, solid storyline, absolutely beautiful graphics. It's got kind of one of the first big, not really one of the first big attempts, Pikmin 2. One of the first big attempts at somewhat voice acting, although they don't speak English. They speak their language. Anyway, the story thrusts you into the story of another planet and another group of captains, Kopai, which is somewhere near Hakatate from the original 2 games, which is having a food crisis. They've somehow managed to deplete all their food supply. So they have to send unmanned space probes, which apparently have the technology advanced enough to do that, but not manage their food supply efficiently. Although slightly better off than the Drell, from Mass Effect, if any of you get what I'm referencing there. But, so they send these unmanned probes into space. Unfortunately for the Kopaians, most of them turn up blank, with no sorts of edible food for them. And as just they about to get up, one of them reports back with a large amount of food on one planet, which is of course the planet of Pikmin. So they send 3 explorers out to that planet, which is 279 light years away, but they have this special cosmic drive thing that allows them to go fast and get there without wasting hundreds of thousands of years. So they had to gather a bunch of fruit to save the planet. Unfortunately, as they enter the atmosphere, they have some sort of malfunction. The ship blows up mid-space and somehow doesn't completely get destroyed. All the captains get ejected onto the planet's surface, yet somehow survive. And most of the food supplies they brought with them have been destroyed. So they need to find new food. And of course, they get help from the ever-lovable, ever-loyal, and ever-cuddable Pikmin that that just don't seem to care. They just help people that just land on the planet in spaceships just because they can. So yeah, you actually get 3 captains in this game instead of 2, although they've been increasing by 1 in Pikmin 3, so. And this even offers up for more possibilities. There's a new Go Here command, which allows your captain to auto-run with their Pikmin squad to a certain location. It increases severely the amount of multitasking available. In addition, the new advanced Pikmin AI, if Pikmin fall in water and they can't swim, they won't just sit there flailing their arms around. They will, if they're close to land, they will actually get back on land on their own, but they still need to be whistled. And if you don't, they'll just keep following, get back out, but at least they'll try. And there are certain areas in one of the maps where they have to wait for lily pads to travel if they're carrying an object. They will wait for the lily pad. They won't just jump. This requires a lot less babysitting from you. And the Pikmin AI has been improved, although their pathfinding, if you run them straight into a wall, they're still going to get stuck. And there's a new problem in the game where sometimes Pikmin, they get stuck behind objects that are being carried, and they can't add to the maximum capacity unless they're thrown from a side, which kind of is annoying at times and kind of bugging. It's a new issue, but I hope Nintendo fixes it with a patch or something. Not that I'm really seeing much of that. Pikmin AI, not only the best, but it's definitely improved. Each Pikmin is now beautifully rendered. They got individual movements. It's just a much more beautiful game than than either Pikmin 1 or Pikmin 2, even the new play control models. You also get command of 2 new Pikmin types, the heavy, powerful Rock Pikmin and the flying but weak Winged Pikmin, which Rock Pikmin can break crystal barriers and knock off the crystals on certain enemies, as well as they can't be crushed, and of course Winged Pikmin can fly. Kind of obvious. The white and purple Pikmin and Bulbins don't appear in the main storyline. The white and purples only appearing in a couple of the mission modes, which I'll come to later. But the story is just epic. It goes back to a time limit where you can only stay on the planet as long as you keep collecting fruit to juice, which can get between half a jar and 3 jars for your captains to drink. And somehow, even though we later get up to 4 people on the ship, spoiler, and they all seem to consume from 1 jar, although I would think they would consume from multiple jars, at least at that point, to feed, so they don't all, get hungry. And you can only last, if you collect all the fruit on the planet, you can last up to 99 days. However, once you run out of fruit, well, you're done. And there's no free roam after you've completed the main story, it just ends you there. But it might take several days for you to complete the main, so I wouldn't recommend holding it off to the last day. Anyway, the game's storyline is epic. There are a few less mini-bosses in the game, which is annoying at times. There are 5 mini-boss fights, and 3 of them are practically the same. And there's 3 boss types for 5 mini-boss battles. So I wish they would have added more mini-bosses. There are no more caves though, so there's no cave diving or anything. There are 6 main bosses, and although some of them are kind of easy, the last 2 are especially difficult, especially the 5th one, and they actually require some strategy and skill, and a bit of a stomach to deal with the Pikmin casualties. Because I know I get a little sad when I lose 20 or 30 Pikmin in a battle. I get kind of sad, depressed, because it's like commanding an army. You get to love your soldiers, you get to know them, well, not really, in Pikmin. And you care for them, and they're ever loyal. They'll do pretty much anything, but times you are asking them to put their lives on the line. And a lot of times you will lose Pikmin. I don't think I know anyone. This has got to be a nearly impossible feat to complete a Pikmin game without losing a single Pikmin. That is nearly impossible. But back to the story. Olimar and Louie from the previous games do make cameo appearances. A big part of the game is trying to find Olimar to get the Cosmic Drive key to make your Cosmic Drive work, otherwise you're stranded on the planet. And Louie, he just appears, and then he steals all your food, and you have to get more food, and then capture him to get your food back, and then you just tie him up on your ship, and he gives you the position to the final battle. Well, it's a very engaging storyline, very epic. The maps are just big, they offer many puzzle-solving capabilities, there are so many puzzles to solve, it is just amazing. Outside the main story mode, however, Pikmin 3 starts to lack a little, and that makes me kind of sad. First off, the mission mode. There are 16 different missions you can take, and you can take these as many times as you want at any time in the game. However, these are split up into 3 categories. You have collect treasure, defeat enemies, and fight bosses. And there are 5, 5, and 6 per. Now, collect treasure is one of my favorite mission modes. It's the one I've been playing the most, but there are only 5 maps for it. And the fruit locations, you gotta collect fruit and treasure, aren't randomized at all. They're all in the same static locations. Which I guess is kind of to help you plan out the thing. But it gets annoying to have the same map with the same positions for every enemy every single time. I would like to see some randomization, and although you can see the map on the Wii U gamepad before you start, I would like to see it somewhat randomized so you get to think a little bit each and every time before you play. And I would like to see more mission mode battles. I mean, if the original Pikmin 2 had 50 challenge mode levels. 50! I would like to see elite, like 14, 20, 10, at least 8 mission modes battles. And same for the next mode, battle enemies, which is pretty much the same, but you gotta kill a bunch of enemies. I haven't really played that much, but for people who do like it, I would, yeah, just add some more. Nintendo will at least release a DLC adding more mission mode and bingo battle. I mean, not bingo. Battle enemies. I would like to see some of that. More of those. And then defeat bosses. There are 6 of them. But the main issue I have with that is you don't get to select your Pikmin types. I mean, you're set with a preload stock of Pikmin before each and every battle, which I guess is, I can get for some, like the first boss when you only have 2 types available. But when you get to later bosses, when you have 4 or 5 Pikmin types, it'll only pick a couple of Pikmin types. And for the 5th boss, that's kind of annoying because I spammed Wing Pikmin to defeat him, and you don't get Wing Pikmin in the fight against the 5th boss, which is kind of lame. Also, some Pikmin are planted, so it's much harder than the original. And that's kind of annoying, but kind of adds to the challenge a little bit. But like I said, a bit of annoying. And then finally, we have the multiplayer Bingo Battle, which is a new take on the multiplayer. It has 12 maps, and each map has 3 variations of each map. So that's pretty good. So it gives you a total of 36 different possibilities, but you don't actually get to choose those variations. I would like to see you choose what variation you want to play. That would be more cool. Also, not all the maps or battle modes or collect treasures are unlocked from the start. You get to beat the first one to unlock the next one, which I kind of get for the mission mode stuff, but for Bingo Battle, I would have liked to see all the maps available from the start, like in Pikmin 2. Bingo Battle, you pretty much gotta, it's like Bingo, but with only 4 spaces. You gotta get across, diagonal, or down 4, or a certain treasure or enemy you gotta get. There are certain, like before, you can collect cherries to hamper your opponent. There are a bunch of new items in the game, and you can either play with 1 captain or 2 captains, although it's only 2 players. You can just switch between those captains. And for the blue team, you play as Alf, which is one of the new characters, and either Brittany or Charlie, which is one of the 2 supporting characters, which are the 2 additional characters in the new game. And one of those are randomly chosen as Alf support in a 2v2. And if you play as the red team, you actually get to play as Olimar. And if you're playing 2v2, Louie makes an appearance as a playable character, which is kind of nice. But I would have liked the ability to see what side you want to play. Do you want to play the Hakatations or the blue, or if you want to play the Capaians for the red? That would have been cool to add. I do like no restricted though. Like red team has red Pikmin and blue team has blue Pikmin. All the teams can use the same Pikmin types. Those just have different leaf covers, which I think is cool considering teams can use like yellow, rock Pikmin. They can use blue Pikmin in these. Actually, they could use like yellow and rock Pikmin in the games. That's nice. That's a nice feature in the game. And although there's no online multiplayer, which I would have liked to see, I mean, they got full Miiverse support for this game. I would have liked to see some sort of online. I mean, because I would have liked to play with a lot of other Pikmin fanatics online. That would have been cool to add. Also, the game starts you off straight in the story mode, which I think most people would select right off the bat, but if you wanted to play some multiplayer with your friends, or try mission mode together, because you can play that 2-player, you have to wait. You have to at least get through the first day or 2, save the game, quit it, and just, that takes like a half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour, and that's kind of annoying. I like to see the options in there. So pretty much the pros of the game is, it's got a very good storyline, amazing graphics. The Pikmin AI is much better. It's much easier on multitasking. An overview map that has Fog of War on the Wii U, so you don't actually see the entire map until you've explored it completely, which is very nice, very new. With full fruit support, it actually encourages you to collect more fruit because depending on how much fruit you collect at the end of the game, it allows you to get a better ending. There are 3 different endings. One where you don't collect enough seeds because to save your planet. 2 when you collect barely enough, and 3 when you collect more than enough. And they also learn skills with Pikmin. They're playing ahead depending on the ending you got. And it's just got epic gameplay. The cons of the game, on the other hand, there's not enough mission mode modes. You can't select what Pikmin you want to use to fight a boss that you would have unlocked at that point. You can't select what variation of bingo battle you want. The Pikmin AI, although improved, they can still get stuck on corners, and like I said earlier, that the bug where Pikmin can't find their way around an object to help pick it up. But these are mostly minor things compared to the scale of the game, and I have to give Pikmin 3 a 9 out of 10. This is an awesome game, worth a purchase, especially if you already have a Wii U. What are you doing? Get off your butts, buy this game if you haven't already. If you don't have a Wii U, I would highly recommend getting this game just for the Wii U. This game is that good. Even if the side modes are a bit lacking, the story alone will keep you occupied for days, maybe even weeks. Plus everything else the Wii U has to offer, like Zombie U, Nintendo Land, the Mario games, the Wii U remakes of like Assassin's Creed and Black Ops, plus all the other stuff that's coming out. I mean, this game alone could possibly boost the Wii U up. Combined with Zombie U for everyone else, the Wii U can easily become a top-selling system. This game is just amazing, worth a purchase. So that sums up my review. Remember to drink some lemonade, pick up a controller, and have a good time. Peace out, peoples!